Hi, welcome to Basic Electrical Engineering. In this lecture, we will discuss about the transformer, their basic operating principle. So, transformer is defined as a static electrical device that transfers electrical energy from one circuit to another circuit through the process of electromagnetic induction and without a change in frequency. In definition, we can say the transformer is a static electrical device. It The main function of the transformer is transfer the electrical energy from one circuit to another circuit. And this is basically based on the electromagnetic induction. And one thing, during the transfer of electrical energy from one circuit to another circuit, the frequency will not be changed. Here, the schematic diagram of the transformer is shown here. This is the supply voltage which is given in the primary winding, because in transformer we have two windings. One is the primary winding and other is called the secondary winding. And these two windings are placed on a soft iron core. This is called the core of the transformer. The material of the core is high permeability iron, where the flux will flow through this core. The windings are considered as the primary windings as well as the secondary windings. The winding which is connected to the supply, it is considered as the primary winding, and this part is considered as a primary circuit. Whereas the other winding which is connected to the load, it is considered as a secondary winding, and this part is considered as a secondary circuit. Transformer is basically used to increase or decrease the voltage level between the circuits. And the energy transfer usually takes place with a change in voltage. That means when we give the power supply to the primary winding, so the electrical energy will be transferred from primary side to the secondary side through the medium of the magnetic field. And when this energy is transferred from one side to another side, then there is a change in voltage level. That means either the primary voltage will be more than the secondary voltage, or the primary voltage will be less than the secondary voltage. This is the basic purpose of using transformer. When transformer rise the voltage, that is when the output voltage of a transformer is higher than the input voltage, then this type of transformer is considered as a step-up transformer. That means here we give the power supply with a voltage of Vp, that is the primary voltage. But if the secondary voltage, that is the Vs, is more than the primary voltage, so we can say the voltage is increased. Then this type of transformer, which is used to increase the voltage in the secondary side, is considered as a step-up transformer. On the other hand, when the secondary voltage of the transformer is lower than the primary side of the transformer, then this type of transformer is considered as a step-down transformer. That means the voltage in the secondary side will be less than the voltage in the primary side. Then this will be considered as a step-down transformer. Now, if we note the important points regarding the transformer, then these points can be written as: transformer is basically an electromagnetic energy conversion device, because it transfers the electrical energy from one circuit to another circuit through the medium of the magnetic field. In basic construction or basic operation of the transformer, there is no moving part. That's why it is also called as a static device. In the definition, we have called the transformer as a static electrical device, because there is no moving part in the construction of the transformer. The electrical circuit which receives the energy from the supply main is called the primary winding, and the circuit which delivers the energy to the load is called the secondary winding. That can be seen from this figure. Here, this winding is connected with the source. So energy is supplied from this side. That's why this winding is considered as the primary winding. So this is considered as the primary winding. Whereas the other winding which is connected to the load, here we can connect the load, then this winding is considered as the secondary winding. So it can be considered as the secondary winding. Here one point should be remembered that the primary and secondary term is the relative term, because in the same transformer we can give the power supply across this winding, so we'll get the voltage in the opposite side. So basically the winding which is connected to the supply side is called as the primary winding, and the winding which is connected to the load is considered as the secondary winding. The primary and secondary windings are electrically isolated. That means there is no electrical connection between these two windings. Then also the power will be transferred from primary side to the secondary side, but it will be through the magnetic field. That it is considered as the electromagnetic energy conversion device. It is rugged in construction, so minimum repair and maintenance is required for the transformer. As we have already discussed, the step-up transformer is basically the transformer which convert the low voltage to a high voltage. That means here the primary voltage will be lower than the secondary voltage. Then this type of transformer is be considered as a step-up transformer. It increases the voltage level. Whereas the step-down transformer means the high voltage will be converted to the low voltage. That means the primary side voltage will be more than the load side voltage. So it is considered as a step-down transformer. Transformer is an AC device. It cannot be used in DC. This point we will discuss later in detail. But remember one thing, transformer is a device that can be operated only in AC supply. We cannot use the transformers by anyhow in DC supply. The rated output of the transformer is mentioned in kVA and not in kilowatt. This term will also be discussed later in this lecture. That means if we want to rate the transformer, that means the rating of the transformer is mentioned in terms of kVA. For example, the 10 kVA transformer. We cannot say 10 kilowatt transformer, but it will be considered as a 10 kVA transformer. Why this? That will be discussed later. In transformer during operation, the losses are considered as the minimum. It can be seen that the losses in the transformer operation is very minimum. One reason is that there is no friction or windage loss in transformer. And as the losses are minimum, so the efficiency of the transformer is very high. It is as high as 96% to 99% at full load condition. So it can be considered as transformer is the maximum efficiency electrical device. No other electrical device or machine has so much efficiency during full load condition. Next, the working principle of the transformer. The basic operating principle on which the transformer works is the Faraday law of electromagnetic induction. Transformer works on the basis of Faraday law of electromagnetic induction or the mutual induction between two coils. So let's see the schematic diagram of the transformer. Here we give the AC power supply to the primary coil or primary winding. Then an AC current will start to flow in the primary coil. And as this current is flowing through the primary coil, let's say the number of turn in the primary side is N1 and the number of turn in the secondary side is let's N2. So when the primary current is flowing through the coil, then a magnetomotive force will be developed. That we all know that the magnetomotive force is represented by the product of current and the number of turns. And as the magnetomotive force is developed, therefore a magnetic field will be produced. And because of the magnetic field, the flux will start to flow through the high permeability core material of the transformer. This is the high permeability core material, and the flux will circulate through this high permeability path. As the current is alternating, then the flux will also be alternating, because we know that according to the Ohm's law, the flux can be represented as magnetomotive force upon reluctance. Here N1 is the number of turns, it is a constant parameter. S is the reluctance, it is also almost constant. So the flux is directly proportional to the current. Therefore, as the current is sinusoidal in nature, then the flux will also be changing with respect to time, just like the current. So this change in flux, this alternating flux will circulate through this high permeability material, and it will cut both the primary as well as the secondary winding. Then, according to the Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, which states that if any conductor is cut by a changing flux, then an EMF will be induced in the conductor. Therefore, because of this mutual flux, it is considered as the mutual flux because this flux cuts both the primary as well as the secondary winding. So because of this mutual flux, and according to the Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, the EMF will be induced in primary as well as in the secondary side. So let's see the point. The transformer consists of two separate windings placed over the laminated silicon steel core. The windings to which the AC supply is connected is called the primary winding, and the winding which is connected to the load is called the secondary winding, that we have already discussed. It works on the alternating current only because an alternating flux is required for mutual induction between the two windings, that we have already discussed here. Now, when the AC supply is given to the primary winding with a voltage of V1, here the supply voltage, let's say V1, then an current will be flowing, let's say I1, and this current will create a magnetomotive force corresponding flux. And this flux will set up in the core of the transformer, which links the secondary winding as well as the primary winding. And then, according to the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, the EMF will be induced in the secondary winding as well as in the primary winding. The direction of the induced EMF is such that it will oppose the supply voltage, and this is according to the Lenz law. The Lenz law states that when there is an EMF induced in a conductor, then the induced EMF will oppose its cause. So when the EMF will be induced in primary winding, let's say E1, and EMF in secondary winding, let's say E2, then this induced EMF will oppose the supply voltage, and it will be according to the Lenz law. Physically, there is no electrical connection between the two windings, but they are magnetically connected. Therefore, the electrical power is transferred from primary circuit to the secondary circuit through the mutual induction. The induced EMF in the primary and in secondary winding depend upon the rate of change of flux linkage that we have already discussed. As the flux is flowing to this high permeability material, it will cut both the primary as well as the secondary winding. Where the EMF induced in the primary winding can be represented as E1, it will be minus N1 d of phi upon dt, or we can say it is phi m, that is mutual flux. Similarly, the EMF induced in the secondary side can be represented as E2, and it will be minus N2 d of phi m upon dt. This is according to the Faraday law of electromagnetic induction. So the EMF in primary and in secondary, both EMF will be induced because of the change in flux, which links both the windings. Here d phi by dt, or we can say d phi m by dt, is the same for both the primary as well as the secondary winding. So the induced EMF E1 in the primary winding is proportional to the number of turns N1 of the primary winding, where E1 will be proportional to N1, and similarly the EMF induced in the secondary winding will be proportional to the number of turns in the secondary side, that is E2 is proportional to N2. From these two relations, that is E1 is equal to minus N1 d phi m by dt and E2 is equal to minus N2 d phi m by dt, we can see that d phi m by dt, this term is same for both the primary as well as for the secondary side. The only difference is the number of turns. Here it is N1 and here it is N2. Therefore, the EMF which will be induced in primary, it will be proportional to number of turns, and similarly EMF induced in the secondary side, which will be proportional to the number of turns in the secondary, that is N2. So this working principle can be again can be displayed in another way. According to the Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, there will be an EMF induced in the secondary side. And if the circuit of the secondary winding is closed, that means if the load is connected to the secondary side, then a current will start to flow through it. This is the basic operating principle of the transformer that we have seen in the previous slide. Here, due to the mutual induction, the flux will be produced here, and because of the Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, the EMF will be induced in primary as well as in the secondary side. And if the load is connected across the secondary winding, then a current will start to flow in the secondary side. So the power will be transferred to the load. This is the basic operating principle of the transformer. So we have to give the power supply in the primary side, AC voltage, then an AC current will start to flow. It will create a magnetomotive force, corresponding flux will be produced. The flux depends upon current, so it will be also alternating in nature. This flux will flow through the high permeability core of the transformer, which change with respect to the time, and it will cut both primary as well as the secondary windings according to the Faraday law of electromagnetic induction. And if we connect a load across the secondary winding, then the current will be flowing through the load, so the electrical power will be transferred to the load. So according to the Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, there will be an EMF induced in the secondary side, and if the circuit of the secondary winding is connected across the load, that means if the circuit is closed, then the current will flow through it. So here we can see the how the operation is happening. V1 is the voltage applied in the primary coil. Then the magnetomotive force will be developed, flux will be generated, and this flux will cut both the primary as well as the secondary winding. Flux will be produced in the primary coil, but it will cut primary as well as the secondary winding. And when the flux cut, then according to the Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, EMF will be induced both in primary as well as in the secondary side. And when the secondary side is connected with the load, then the current will start to flow through the load. So this is basically the visualization of the electrical symbol for uh, discussing the operating principle of the transformer. Here it is considered as the primary side or the primary winding, and it is considered as the secondary side or the secondary winding. The winding which gives the desired output voltage due to the mutual induction is commonly known as the secondary winding. This is also considered as the secondary coil that is shown in this figure. The transformer that increases the voltage between the primary to the secondary winding is called as a step-up transformer that we have already discussed. And a transformer which decreases the voltage between primary to secondary side is considered as a step-down transformer that we have already discussed earlier. Now, whether the transformer increase or decrease the voltage level depends on the relative number of the turns between the primary and the secondary side of the transformer. That means if the number of turns in the primary side is more than the secondary side, then the voltage in the primary will be more than the secondary side. That means here the high voltage will be transferred to the low voltage. It will be the step down transformer. So you can say that for step down transformer, the number of turn in the secondary side will be less than the number of turn in the primary side. And similarly for step up transformer, just reverse. In case of step up transformer, the number of turn in the uh, secondary side will be more than the number of turn in the primary side. That means the side where the number of turn is more, there the voltage will also be more. Now, if there are more turns on the primary coil than the secondary coil, then the voltage will be decreased. That is a step down that we have already discussed. So this will be the step down and this will be the step up transformer. So this is all about the working principle of the transformer. Now we have mentioned that the transformer cannot be operated with the DC power supply. Let's discuss this point. The transformer works on AC supply only and it cannot work on DC. It cannot work on DC because if we give the AC power supply, then the flux that will be produced, it will be changing with respect to time. Then according to the Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, the EMF will be induced. So if the rated DC voltage is applied across the primary winding, a constant magnitude flux will set up in the primary side of the transformer, and hence there will be no self-induced EMF generation as there is no linkage of the flux with the secondary winding. That must be alternating flux required and not a constant flux. As we have already discussed, the EMF can be induced depending upon the formula E is equal to minus n d phi by dt. That means if there is a rate of change of flux, then only the EMF will be induced. But if we apply the DC supply, then the flux that will be produced in the primary side, it will be constant. It will not change with respect to the time. So the d phi by dt will be equal to 0. Hence, there will be no EMF induced in primary as well as in the secondary side. The other point is the resistance of the primary winding is very low and the primary current is very high. So here the primary current can be calculated by the applied voltage upon the resistance of the primary winding. If we apply the DC voltage and if the resistance of the primary winding is very low, so the primary current will be very high. So this current is much higher than the rated full load primary winding current, because here you have to remember one thing. V1 is the voltage applied in the primary side and E1 is the EMF induced in the primary winding because of the alternating voltage, because of the induction. And this induced EMF in the primary side will oppose the supply voltage according to the Lenz's law that we have already discussed. Therefore, the actual voltage across the primary winding will be V1 minus E1. So the current in the primary side can be written as V1 minus E1 upon R1, where R1 is the resistance of the primary winding. Now, if we apply the DC voltage, then there will be no EMF induced in primary as well as in the secondary side. So here the E1 will be equal to 0. And as the E1 is equal to 0, so the current will be only V1 upon R1. Therefore, the current will be very high compared to the rated current. As a result, it will produce huge amount of heat as per I square R formula. As we know, if there is a resistance and if there is a current flowing through the resistance, then a losses will occur, and this is I square R loss. So in the primary winding, a loss will occur and it will be I1 square into R1. As the current is very high, therefore this loss, which is proportional to the square of the current, this loss will also be very high, and as a result it will produce huge amount of heat. And because of this huge amount of heat, the insulation of the primary winding will get burned and the transformer will get damaged. So if we apply the DC supply in the primary side of the transformer, the first thing is that there will be no EMF induced in the secondary winding, so the power cannot be transferred to the load, as well as there is no EMF induced in the secondary winding, therefore in the primary winding, sorry. So the primary current will be very high, and as a result, huge amount of heat will be produced, and it may burn the transformer. The next is the rating of the transformer. It is also a very important topic that should be discussed. The rating is basically the load carrying capability of the machine. We can say that the rating of the motor is 1 kilowatt. Rating of the transformer is 1 kVA. So this is basically the load carrying capability of the machine. It shows the maximum value of the voltage at which the machine is designed and the current consumption occurs at that voltage. So the rating basically specifies what will be the maximum amount of voltage that can be applied across the machine and what will be the maximum amount of current that can flow or that can be supplied to the machine. The machines are always rated in watts, but the alternator and the transformer are the only machines which are rated in volt ampere, or we can say kilovolt ampere, kVA or VA. Here we can recall that the VA or kVA is basically the unit of the apparent power. Apparent power we have discussed in the second module. It is represented by S, that is the product of voltage and current only, and its unit is volt ampere or kilovolt ampere, that we have discussed earlier. The machines which consume the power are rated in kilowatt, but the main work of the transformer is to transmit the power and not to consume the power. So for this machine, for example motor, it basically consumes the power. That's why it is rated in watt or kilowatt, that is the active power. But the purpose of the transformer is to transmit the power from one circuit to another circuit. Transformer itself cannot consume the power. That's why its rating is mentioned in VA and not in watt or kilowatt. Basically, there are two reasons because of which the rating of the transformer is in VA, that means in apparent power. let's understand this concept. The first reason. First, we understand what is the difference between kVA and kilowatt. The kVA is the product of kilovolt and ampere. So, if we write kVA, it is basically the product of kilovolt into ampere, and it is the unit of the apparent power. So basically kVA indicates the apparent power, and kilowatt is the product of kilovolt, ampere and power factor. So kilowatt can be mentioned as kV into ampere into power factor, and this is nothing but the active power. This above equation shows that the power factor is the only term which makes the difference between the two. That means between the kVA and kilowatt, between the apparent power and the active power. So what is the power factor? Now before we proceed further, we can again mention here the active power is VI cos phi, and the apparent power is V into I. The unit of the active power is watt or kilowatt, whereas unit of the apparent power is VA or kVA, volt ampere or kilovolt ampere. So we can see between the active power and the apparent power, the only difference is this cos phi, and the cos phi is nothing but the power factor. As we have already discussed about the power factor. So what is the power factor? The power factor simply shows the total power consumed by the load. That is, the machine which are rated in kilowatt are designed for the fixed type of the load. That means when we uh, consider the motor or any other electrical device or machine, and if we mention its rating in watt or kilowatt, that means we know what is the nature of the load, what will be the power factor of the load. That's why we can easily rate the machine in terms of active power, that is in terms of watt or kilowatt, because they are designed for a fixed type of load. The nature of the load will not be changed. But in case of transformer, the load is completely unpredictable. So the designer designed the transformer by considering the unity power factor. As we have seen that in the primary side of a transformer, we give the supply, and in the secondary side, the load will be connected. But during the design of the transformer, we don't know what will be the nature of the load. That's why the transformer is always designed for the maximum value of the power. That means here the power factor is considered as the 1. So if we put the power factor cos phi equal to 1, then we can see that the active power will be equal to V into I, and it is nothing but equal to the apparent power when cos phi is equal to 1. And as we don't know what will be the nature of the load, that's why the transformer is always designed depending upon its apparent power. Thereby, the rating of the transformer is in kVA and not in kilowatt. The rating of the transformer is also expressed in VA, kVA, MVA depending upon the size. It is just the amount of the value. VA is for the smaller amount of transformer, kVA is a little bit higher, MVA is more than that. So from these relations, we can see that the transformer is always designed considering the power factor equal to 1, because we don't know what will be the nature of the load, what will be the power factor of the load. And if the power factor is equal to 1, then the active power will be equal to VI. But we know the VI is nothing but the apparent power. So transformer is always designed depending upon the rate of the apparent power. That's why its rating is always mentioned in VA or in kVA or in uh, MVA. The second reason, the transformer consumes the power regarding the losses. The transformer also consumes some amount of power, and this consumption of the power is basically converted to the losses. So the rating of the transformer depends on the temperature of their winding and oil that reaches within the specified limit. But how the temperature rises in the machine? This is because of the losses in the transformer. And in transformer, there are two types of losses occur. One is called the copper loss and another is called the iron loss. So let's see. Here, when we give the power supply in the primary side of the transformer, the current will flow. The EMF will be induced in the primary and secondary winding. And if the load is connected, then the current will flow in the secondary windings also. If the resistance of the primary and secondary is represented as R1 and R2 respectively, so as I1 current is flowing through R1 resistance, then there will be a loss, that is I1 square into R1. And similarly, there will be another loss in the secondary side, and that will be I2 square R2. This loss is considered as a copper loss because the windings are basically made by the copper, and this loss occurs in the windings. That's why it is called the copper loss or the current loss. The copper loss depends on the current flowing through the windings that we have discussed here. Whereas the iron loss depends upon the voltage. What is iron loss? We have already seen the hysteresis loop and the hysteresis losses. So when an alternating flux is flowing through the core material of the transformer, there will be continuously changing flux flowing through this material. So a hysteresis loop will be created in this transformer material. And because of this hysteresis loop, the losses will occur, and this will be considered as a hysteresis loss. There is another loss occurs in the transformer core. This is called the eddy current loss. So basically, there are two types of losses in the core of the transformer. One is hysteresis loss, another is the eddy current loss. And these two losses combined is considered as the iron loss. It will be discussed in detail in the next lecture. There is a chapter called the losses and the efficiency of the transformer. There we will discuss in detail. But when the current is flowing, when the flux is flowing through this core, and this flux is changing with respect to time, then the flux will also induce an EMF in the core of the transformer. Therefore, a current will start to circulate in the core of the transformer, which is considered as a eddy current. And due to this eddy current produced in the core of the transformer material, a losses will occur. This is called the eddy current loss. Basically, the hysteresis loss and eddy current loss depends upon the supply voltage. That's why the iron loss, which is the combination of the hysteresis loss and the eddy current loss, is considered as it depends upon the voltage. The losses that occur in a transformer increase their temperature because whatever may be the type of the losses, whether it is the iron loss or copper loss, these losses basically convert to the heat energy. So as a result, the temperature of the transformer will be increased. Therefore, the rating of the transformer is also mentioned in kVA. Remember one thing here, the power factor is not mentioned anywhere because the copper loss, that is I square loss, it depends upon the current flowing through the winding. Similarly, the iron loss, which depends upon the voltage. And these two parameters, that means the iron loss and the copper loss, does not depend upon the power factor of the load. That's why the rating of the transformer is again mentioned in terms of kVA, because the rating of the transformer is also depends upon the losses, upon the amount of heat energy produced, and the heat is produced because of the losses. As there are two types of losses, that is the copper loss and the iron loss, and these two losses depends upon current and voltage respectively. So there is no concept of the power factor here. That's why the rating of the transformer is mentioned in kVA or in VA. That means in terms of apparent power. A typical nameplate of the transformer is like that. This is the rating of the transformer. For example, 60 kVA transformer. These are the voltage level, that is the 11 kVA and 400 volt, and this is the frequency. So from this, we can get the information that the rating of the transformer is 60 kVA. Here, the voltage level is 11 kV and 400 volt. That means the high voltage side is of 11 kV and the low voltage side is of 400 volt. Suppose this is the high voltage side, this is the 11 kV side, and this is the 400 volt side. So if we give the 11 kV supply in the high voltage winding, we will get 400 volt in the low voltage winding side. On the other hand, if we give the 400 volt supply in the low voltage winding, then we will get the 11 kV voltage on the opposite side. So the transformer can operate both the ways. And here the frequency. Frequency is also a very important part. As we have already discussed, the frequency does not change during the energy transformation from one side to another side. But the frequency of the transformer should be mentioned because the iron losses, that is the hysteresis loss and eddy current loss, depends upon the frequency of the supply voltage also. So this is a typical example of the rating of a transformer. Thank you.